Today I'm going to show you 3 of the best exercises to fix anterior pelvic tilt. What's going on, everybody? How you doing? It's Blake Bowman here with Gorilla Zen Fitness, and in today's video I'm going to show you 3 of the absolute best stretches that you can do at home to help reverse your anterior pelvic tilt. Okay, so what is an anterior pelvic tilt? Anterior pelvic tilt means that the pelvis is tilted forwards, right? Anterior means towards the front. So if this is your pelvis, this is the front of your pelvis, this is the back of your pelvis. If you have an anterior tilt, your pelvis is going to look like this. It's going to be tilted forwards, sloping downwards. Now, this is typically caused by muscular imbalances of the hips, where certain muscles are going to be too strong and tight and exerting too much pull on the bones in which they attach. And you're also going to have other muscles that are too weak, that are not exerting enough pull on the bones that they attach to. And that's what allows the pelvis to kind of fall into that forward tilting position. Now, the specific muscle imbalances that most people with an anterior pelvic tilt has, they're going to have too much tightness in this area, in the front of their thighs and hips, okay? And that kind of tightness here is going to exert a downwards pull on the front of the pelvis. They're also going to have too much tension and tightness back here, which is going to be exerting an upwards pull, right? They're also not going to have enough strength in their core muscles to counteract that tilting forward, right? Because if you had enough strength here, it would combat the tightness that you had down here, and your core would exert an upwards pull on the pelvis, right? So you'd be more neutral. But when you get really, really tight down here, this creates a downwards pull on the front, okay? And then tightness in this area creates that upwards pull on the back. Both of these result in an anterior pelvic tilt. So if you have this going on, your stomach's going to be sticking out, your back's going to be really arched and tight all the time, and your butt's going to be sticking out. That being said, the focus of these 3 stretches that I'm going to show you right now are to basically address those tight muscles in the front and the back that are tilting the pelvis forward. Stretching these muscles will loosen them up and shut down that neurological activity in there so that they can be more relaxed, which is going to take care of one of the imbalances, the tight muscles associated with the anterior pelvic tilt. Alright, so the first of these stretches is going to stretch a muscle that runs right down the center of the thigh called the rectus femoris. Okay? It runs right down the thigh like this, and it's a hip flexor muscle just like the TFL or the psoas. Okay, so in order to do this, you're going to need a bench or a chair or a bed, anything of approximately this height. Basically, we need this to prop up the leg. So in order to do this, what you're going to do, and you might want to put something down on the ground like a pad for your knee, because this can be kind of aggressive on the knee, but you're going to put one foot up onto a bench, and then you're going to plant that knee down, okay? From here, you're going to plant the other foot flat, and then you're just going to sit straight up, and you're going to maintain good posture, keep your abs squeezed, keep your abs tight, okay? Be nice and upright here, and basically try to sink your butt back to your heel, okay? You should feel a deep, deep stretch right down that rectus femoris. You should feel it right down the thigh, coming right into the top of the knee, okay? It shouldn't hurt, okay? If it is hurting, then you probably need to lean forward a little bit, take a little bit of a stretch off of the rectus femoris until you've been doing this a little bit longer. But basically, this is it. Good posture, foot up here, okay? Core is tight, and you're trying to lean back to get that heel to touch the butt, okay? Once you've gotten there, you don't need to go back anymore. And at that point, your rectus femoris is probably very loose. Okay, so now we're going to do a very similar stretch, very similar, but this one focuses a little bit more on a muscle on the side of the hip right here called the TFL, tensor fascia lata, okay? It is also a hip flexor muscle, just like the rectus femoris. All right, so for stretch number 2 here, we don't actually need a bench or anything, but you might want to use a pad again, right? Because again, this can be kind of hard on your knees, okay? But basically for this one, it's a very similar setup to the rectus femoris stretch. Remember now we're stretching the TFL, which is like on the side here more. The rectus femoris is right down the leg, okay? So basically to do this, I like to lay my foot flat like this, plant this other foot out here, okay? And set up like this. Very similar, except for the knee is not bent, right? We're not all the way up here with it. We're down here, okay? Basically, tilt the pelvis underneath like this. This will help to stretch these muscles. Don't let your pelvis tilt forward like this. You're just going to be reinforcing the anterior pelvic tilt. Tuck it underneath you like that. Your low back should be as flat as possible, okay? Squeeze your butt cheek as you lean forward. This butt cheek is squeezed on the leg that's back, okay? Squeeze that, raise up the arm on the same side of the leg that's back, keeping your pelvic position out of this and keeping it here by keeping the butt tight and also keeping the core tight. What you're going to do is you're just going to lean away from that side like this until you're feeling a deep stretch in the side of your hip here. And you're just going to hold this basically for about 1 minute. This is how you do it, okay? The most important part here, as well as with the first stretch that I forgot to mention, is you do not want the pelvis tilting forwards while you're doing it, right? You want to stay out of that anterior tilt position. So tuck your pelvis underneath you while you do it, and you'll feel a greater stretch in the hip flexor muscles while you do that. And you'll be putting your pelvis in the opposite position, a posteriorly tilted position, which is always a good way. The more time you can spend in that position, the less tight you're going to be, and the more apt to reverse the APT you're going to be. Okay, so now we're going to come on to those muscles that attach on the lower back, and we're going to stretch those, okay? Oftentimes, the lats, the latissimus dorsi, are actually a big contributor to anterior pelvic tilt. This is not something that a lot of people talk about, but if you look at the attachment points, the attachment sites, where the lats attach on the body, you'll clearly see how they can contribute to an anterior pelvic tilt. Your lats are your back muscles like here, okay, and they attach up here by the shoulder, but they also attach down here on the back of the pelvis, okay? So if your lats are tight and short, right, they're going to pull up on the back of that pelvis and make the anterior pelvic tilt worse, right? So we took care of a lot of those muscles that attach in the front part of the pelvis. Now we're going to stretch to the lats and help take care of some of the tightness in the lower back. Okay, so for this, we're going to use that bench again. Again, you can use a chair or anything basically, anything that's elevated like this. But this is a great stretch, okay? This is called a Pmf Lat Stretch. Basically, in order to do this, you're going to set up like this. You're going to kneel down in front of the bench or the chair or the bed or whatever it is. You're going to put both of your elbows on the bench like this, okay? And then you're going to put your head in between the elbows, okay? From here, you're going to tuck your elbows, bring them together, okay? What you're going to do is you're going to drive your elbows down as though you're trying to like push them through the bench like that, okay? Obviously, they're not going to move though because the bench is blocking your arms, okay? You're going to push down really hard, and then you're just going to relax and let your body sink down a little bit. And then you're going to hold that relaxation for about 10 seconds. Then you're going to push again, 10-second contraction, relax, let your chest sink deeper, okay? You're going to do that for about, 5 sets of 10 seconds on, 10 seconds off, okay? That's basically how you do that. You should feel that stretching your lats. I made a video about this not too long ago, this specific exercise, where I talk about it a little bit more in depth. If you want to check that video out, then check out the description down beneath this video. There you have it. Include these stretches into your routine. I'd recommend doing each one for, 1 to 2 sets of 1 minute in length each. And with regards to the leg ones, that's each side, right? So if you're going to do 1 minute, do 1 minute of the rectus femoris stretch on the one side, 1 minute on the other side, okay? Do these in your routine several times throughout the week, and you should notice a pretty big improvement in your anterior pelvic tilt. If you haven't yet subscribed to my YouTube channel, go ahead and do that over here. Also, if you want to learn more about anterior pelvic tilt and how to fix it, I actually put together a workout recently that actually strengthens your legs and your core while simultaneously improving the anterior pelvic tilt, right? Today what we did is we took care of a lot of the muscle imbalance, the weak muscles, right? Or the strong muscles, sorry, by stretching them. And basically in this workout, this will help address the other side of the imbalance, which is weak muscles, right? This will strengthen the muscles that need to be strengthened, which will synergize really well with the stretches that I showed you here today. If you want to get access to the anterior pelvic tilt workout that I made, go ahead and click this button right over here. However, if you're watching it on a mobile device, whether your phone or your iPad or whatever, that probably is not going to be able, you're probably not going to be able to click that. So what I want you to do instead is open up the description down below and click the first link there. Both that link and this link will take you to the same page on my website. And basically, I'll ask you to enter in your email. As soon as you enter in your email, I'll send you the anterior pelvic tilt workout right afterwards. That's all I had to say today. I really hope that you enjoyed these stretches. I hope that they help you out. And as always, I appreciate you for watching my YouTube channel here, and I'll see you next time.